Welcome, dear viewers, to a place where shadows whisper and legends come to life. Tonight we journey into the heart of the silent forests. Locals speak of an oppressive silence that descends upon the woods at the stroke of midnight. Tonight we bring you 3 spine-chilling tales from those who dare to enter the silent forests. Prepare yourself for a journey into the eerie and unexplained. Our first tale takes us deep into the heart of the silent forests, following the trail of a lone hiker named Michael. He was an experienced outdoorsman, drawn to the challenge of conquering the unknown. He scoffed at the local legends, dismissing them as mere folklore, but Michael was about to learn that some legends are rooted in a terrifying reality. It was late afternoon when Michael set off into the woods, his backpack filled with supplies. The sun was already beginning to dip below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows across the forest floor. The deeper he ventured, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. The usual sounds of the forest faded away, replaced by an unnerving silence. As dusk settled, Michael decided to set up camp for the night. He pulled out his phone, his signal weak but still holding. He dialed his brother, leaving a voicemail, his voice echoing strangely in the stillness of the woods. "Hey man, just wanted to let you know I'm setting up camp. This place is creepy as hell, but the views are amazing. I'll check in with you tomorrow." He built a fire, the flickering flames doing little to dispel the growing darkness. He tried to shake off the feeling of unease, but it was like trying to outrun a shadow. The forest was watching him. As the hour grew late, Michael retreated to his tent. He lay down, his heart pounding in his chest, the silence of the forest deafening in his ears. He closed his eyes, willing himself to sleep, but sleep wouldn't come. The silence was too complete, too absolute. He glanced at his watch. 11:58 p.m., 2 minutes until midnight. The silence stretched on, each second an eternity, and then the forest exhaled. A low, guttural growl echoed through the trees. Michael's eyes flew open, his body stiff with terror. He fumbled for his flashlight, his fingers clumsy with fear. The growl grew louder, closer, a deep primal sound that sent shivers down his spine. Our next tale revolves around a group of friends who decided to tempt fate with a weekend camping trip in the heart of the silent forests. They laughed off the local legends, dismissing them as nothing more than old wives' tales. There was Emily, the self-proclaimed leader, Jake, the jokester, Sophia, the quiet observer, and Ben, the level-headed one. They arrived at the edge of the forest in the late afternoon, the sun already beginning to dip below the horizon. They set up camp in a clearing, the dying embers of the setting sun casting an eerie glow on their faces. As darkness fell, they built a roaring fire, the flames dancing and leaping. They shared stories and jokes, the sound of their laughter a fragile attempt to keep the darkness at bay. But as the night wore on and the fire began to die down, the laughter faded, replaced by an uneasy silence. The forest seemed to press in on them, the shadows growing longer and more menacing. Jake was the first to break the silence. "Anyone else feel like we're being watched?" he asked. "Don't be ridiculous, Jake," Emily scoffed, her voice artificially bright. But even she couldn't quite mask the tremor in her voice. High above them, hidden among the branches, a pair of glowing eyes watched their every move. The creature was large and misshapen, its body a grotesque parody of a human form. Down below, oblivious to the danger, the group huddled closer around the dying fire. Sophia shivered. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. "Hear what?" Ben asked. "That whispering," Sophia replied. "It sounds like it's coming from the trees." They all listened intently. At first there was nothing but the crackling of the fire, but then faint as a breath on the wind they heard it, a low murmuring whisper filled with a deep primal malice. "Okay, this isn't funny anymore," Emily said, her voice trembling. "Let's just pack up and get out of here." But it was too late. The creature in the trees chose that moment to strike. It launched itself from the branches, its massive body a blur of teeth and claws. Our final tale takes us back through time, to the very origins of the silence that blankets the silent forests each night. It begins with the discovery of an ancient, leather-bound journal, its pages brittle with age. The journal belonged to Elias Thorne, the first and only keeper of the silent forests. He was a solitary man chosen for his task by the elders of a nearby village, entrusted with a sacred duty to protect a hidden grove deep within the heart of the forest. This grove, according to legend, held a power that could not be contained. Elias was tasked with guarding this grove, with ensuring that its power was never used for evil. He built a small cabin at the edge of the grove, his only companions, the whispering trees and the creatures of the night. He lived a simple life, his days spent patrolling the boundaries of the grove, but the solitude took its toll on Elias. He grew lonely, his heart aching for human companionship. One night, driven to desperation, Elias ventured deep into the heart of the grove. He stood before an ancient gnarled oak, its branches reaching towards the heavens. The air around the tree crackled with energy, and Elias could feel a presence there. He fell to his knees. "I beg you," he cried, "grant me my heart's desire. Give me someone to share this burden." The grove remained silent. Just when Elias was about to give up hope, he heard it. A voice, deep and resonant. "Your wish will be granted," the voice boomed. "But be warned, keeper, every gift comes at a price. You will have your companion, but the forest will forever be bound to silence at the stroke of midnight." Elias, blinded by his loneliness, readily agreed to the terms. The next morning, Elias awoke to find a young woman sleeping peacefully in his cabin. She had no memory of who she was or how she had come to be in the forest. Elias named her Anya, and she quickly became his constant companion. For a time there was peace in the silent forests. But the pact Elias had made came at a terrible cost. As darkness fell each night, a palpable silence descended upon the forest. And as the years turned into decades, Elias began to realize the true cost of his bargain. The silence was spreading, consuming the forest and everything in it. Driven by guilt and despair, Elias poured all his energy into finding a way to break the curse. In the end, Elias chose to sacrifice himself in a desperate attempt to atone for his sins. He ventured deep into the heart of the grove, to the very spot where he had made his bargain. He closed his eyes and uttered a single word: "Forgive." A blinding flash of light erupted from the oak, and then silence. The silent forests stand as a chilling testament to the power of legends and the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most familiar places. The tales of the vanishing hiker, the campfire horror, and the keeper's secret serve as chilling reminders that some places are best left undisturbed, especially when the clock strikes midnight. Thank you for joining us on this dark journey through the silent forests. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more chilling tales. Until next time, stay safe and beware of the midnight hour.